I'm seducing you so wildly, and then I'm walking away. But I love you so completely, darling, just for today. I couldn't love you anymore today. Living in the moment. Oh, there's no other way. One step in front of the other. I'm getting closer every day. So let's live for today. Oh, let's live for today. Oh, let's live for today. Make the most of every day. Oh, how I give thanks for this day. I feel so blessed for this day. Today. That's all we have today. Today.
Aloha. FYI, I am so not in a hurry. If you're uncomfortable with silence, this is going to be tough. The gratitude that I feel to be here right now is extraordinary. So in the simplest and most profound way, thank you. Thank you. For as much as it might be a gift for you, I promise it is the same gift for me. Thank you. Naturally, as I got here, the first thing I thought was, what am I going to talk about? And the beauty of what I get to do is I get to not have a clue and just show up, which is the best job ever. Then it reminded me of this poem that I have in my book, An Explosion of Love, and I want to share it with you. And then from there, I will share some insight, wisdom about whatever. Spiritual nonsense. I don't know. And then engage in some dialogue and some Q&A when that time arises. But first, what I really need to do is just give you all a big hug. And so thank you so much. This poem is called Knowing. Can I be honest, even though I might cry? I really, truly, deeply don't know what I want. And sometimes, yes, I wish I could fly. How could this be for the one who writes so poetically? The one who seems so sure as he dances with life so confidently? Then, dear one, you are mistaken. My wholeness does not come with knowing tomorrow. My freedom does not live at the end of desire's road. My liberation is in my honesty, when I fully admit that I don't really know. I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know which stones to throw. I don't know who's right and who's wrong. I only know that I am here, in this moment alone. I don't know what should or should not happen. I don't know the next line of this poem. But somehow when I give up trying, life unfolds and ends up rhyming, always bringing me back home. My strength is in not knowing, not obsessing about knowing the unknown. For who really knows tomorrow? Who can go back and change yesterday's sorrow? So I sit patiently, realizing that beyond now, I know nothing. I let go of the dream that thinks it knows, the imaginary self that wants to become a somebody. I melt in this moment, where life is real and true. It is this space where freedom lives, and I see nothing but love in me and you. And so there's my secret. Is I don't know anything beyond right now. And every time I obsess about knowing that which is impossible to know, I freak out. Stress arises. Anxiety, fear. As if I'm supposed to know that which is impossible to know. That which I will never know. And so there has been this invitation extended that says trust. That says trust this miracle we are swimming in is somehow, some way, working out for the greatest good. And even that I don't know. But when I look up at the stars at night, when I go for a walk in the woods, when I sit next to the beautiful river you have around here, I'm taken back by the perfection that all of this is happening. This beauty blooming. And I have no idea how. And yet I can sit and enjoy it. And be it. And so, to clarify, none of this is serious for me. I am here simply to have a really good time. This is my highest joy, is to sit with the open-hearted and to see how beautiful we are. And even though it is not serious as if there's an imaginary point system, it is profoundly sincere. And my invitation for you in this moment together is simply to taste, to touch, to recognize what it is that you are before the mind moves. What is it that you are before you look to a story? Before you hold on to an idea? Before you look to the conditioning of who everyone else wants you to be? What are you really? So as a human being, we're playing this game. In a way, we can say it's called peekaboo. Where we have this opportunity to dive into experience and to glimpse a depth, an infinite nature of something that we cannot name. But we feel it. And we want so badly to unite with it. In full disclosure, I can't tell you what that is. It's completely dependent on your willingness to let go of everything that you think you know. Playfully. So there are essentially two different realities happening. There is reality as in that which is real. Welcome to that. This is it. It's happening right now. This is life. It's not particularly special. You might not feel important, but it's happening. You're breathing into it. It's breathing through you. It's very much here right now. And what I invite you to see in this moment right now, and please don't go thinking about some other moment, just be here with me right now. In the reality of this moment, and only in this moment, where is the problem? In this moment, are you really missing anything? And again, we're not going to an idea or a story that's not even speaking to life. But in the reality of whatever this is there actually anything wrong? Now, the other reality is the one playing out in the mind. The story of who you think you are. It's a beautiful play, a beautiful drama. And in order for you to find your problem, you must imagine it. And you must believe in it. And yet always, you will never find it here. What significance does this have? That's kind of up for you to decide. But what I'm inviting you to see, just simply in that, is the simplicity of what I'm pointing to. Is that in truth, in what is real, there's nothing wrong with you. And yet this is the problematic experience of being a human being. That you're not there yet. That you're incomplete. Something's missing. And if you could just find that something that exists in your idea of tomorrow, then you could be what? Whole. Lovable. In joy. With peace. And I promise you, this is the only thing that you want. Is what you already are. And this can be quite fun to see if you don't take yourself so seriously. That everything the mind imagines that it thinks it wants from this space of anxiety, that says, oh man, if I really got that job, or if I really had that relationship, then I could be what? At peace. Oh, so it's not really that thing. You want what you think the thing will give you. An internal state of being. And so somewhere along the line there has been this condition placed on love. That says you are not lovable unless you match an image of something. It's vitally important for the one who desires liberation to see this. That what you want does not actually exist out there in the world. What you want does not actually exist in someone else outside of you. What you want is to unite with the truth of what you are. And this human game is as such that we wear ourselves out trying to please others, trying to acquire this and that, trying to change the physical landscape somehow, in hopes that one day we can finally fall into the beauty that we know exists somewhere. And again, as I share this, understand the invitation is to just see this now. The mind is very tempted to take what I'm saying and say, okay, how can I fix the rest of my life? This isn't what we're doing. We are investigating the nature of self and reality right now. Because the real power in this opportunity is to simply see it. Is to recognize it as so. To be honest and sincere with yourself. That what you give your power to outside of yourself doesn't really have what you want. And that our efforts in blaming are movements that reject life is not really serving you in your quest for what you're after. That wasn't too serious, was it? Oh no. That's not what I meant. Okay. That's kind of the foundation of self-inquiry, so that we can kind of be on the same page. So that maybe we can have this agreement that the issue or the problem in life is not something out there. It's an innocent confusion within the being. It's a tiny, tiny confusion. It's not even a big deal. And the playful challenge here is that there's a million different things I could talk about in 1,000 different directions. And in one way, it really doesn't matter. Because again, the words are secondary. And so what I would like to speak to is authentic connection in your relationship life. That feels really good right now. I think we had a title for this thing. You know, we just do that to appease the mind. And somehow it's going to relate. Authentic connection. Okay. Can we agree that there is a desire within us that would enjoy authentically connecting to other people? Is there anyone that just says, no, that's not for me? Maybe, and that's perfectly valid too. You're still completely lovable. And quickly, let me address that if that's the case. If we are afraid of authentically connecting with another human being, it is simply a reflection that says, there is something about myself that I refuse to love. And so I don't want to expose that. And so the premise in which I'm going to speak from is a concept I call the one relationship. And for the last 2 years, it's been the promised title of my next book, which who knows if that's ever going to happen. But in June, which is this month, at the end of this month, we're doing a 5-day retreat in Holland on this topic. The one relationship is simply a playful suggestion that there is actually only one real relationship in life, in the truth of reality. And that relationship is between you and you. You could also say you and God. That's your flavor. You could also say you and all of life. But essentially, it's the relationship that you have with yourself. In every external relationship that it appears in your world, whether that is with a person, a tree, a place, whatever, that relationship is a direct reflection of the relationship you hold with what you are. And so life is set up in such a way that if you experience conflict out here, it is showing you that you are with conflict with yourself. And this is simply a beautiful, gentle, innocent, adorable invitation to love yourself.
Gentle?
It's relative. This is the miracle in which we are living in this present moment reality. That you have the opportunity to wake up to the fullness of what you are, the divinity of what you are, and see a very profound love that ultimately gives you complete permission to be yourself. In whatever way that shows up. So that you can recognize that this life is an opportunity for you to play. For you to let your heart sing and dance in whatever way resonates most deeply to your expression. That life does not have to be a prison cell. Life does not have to be fearful. That there is the opportunity to love everything. And so the secret of authentically connecting with other people, naturally, is to authentically connect with yourself. Period. You must be willing to see yourself. To see yourself without judgment. To see your innocent nature. To recognize that you, my friend, are simply doing the best that you can with what you have. Like everyone else. And the good news is you don't have to. There is literally no requirement for this. It is simply an invitation to see that within you is the power to feel incredibly connected to everything. But in order for this to take place, you must take 100% responsibility for your experience. And what I mean by that is to see deeply that there is nothing outside of you that is inherently making you feel any way. That you are the one that is giving authority to every experience you have internally. If someone insults you and it bothers you, you are simply agreeing because you believe it to be true somehow. And that scares you. And guess what? That's okay. There is literally nothing wrong with that because it's simply an opportunity to see something. To see, oh, I see myself like that. Is that really true? Because the problematic experience of being human is that in some way we believe ourselves to be a victim to life. We believe that the lack of joy that we experience or the lack of freedom to follow our heart is somehow imposed on us from the outside. Whether it's a person, an institution, an organization, a parent. We have become convinced that we are not free because of something out there. And that's okay, because it sets the stage for a fantastic discovery. And I understand how this might be challenging or be perceived to be challenging, but understand that it's not really what I'm doing. I'm inviting you to see how powerful you are. Sincerely. That within you and your nature, you are creating all of this. And if that is true, what might you create consciously? To be aware of what is actually happening. Rather than living according to what somebody else has told you is true. Without knowing from your own direct experience what is real. And then living from that realness. And I tell you these things because I understand the hurt of feeling like you can't express yourself. Of feeling paralyzed within a limitation that says you can't simply be free. And the pathway to this is very, very, very simply sincerity. So please don't complicate it. Don't turn it into some monumental quest. Just see very simply the truth of this moment. Let it resonate with you. Not the truth of what I'm saying, but the truth of what you're feeling. That what you are is not a story of limitation. What you are is not separate from nature. What you are is a freaking miracle, man. And everything in this life that happens is set up to show you this. Every heartbreak, every sadness, every joy, every passion, every desire, every argument. It's simply allowing it to be, allowing life to move, allowing you to be you. And then in the allowing of that, there is a natural blooming. You see, we're here having this dialogue simply because it's time. If it resonates within your heart, it's because it's time. And if it doesn't, that's perfectly fine. This is a little different than my Facebook videos. Is anybody burning with a question? Or I'm just going to keep rambling for a while. Yeah.
Is that like the I and I that Rastafarians and Jamaicans talk about?
I'm completely unfamiliar with what they're talking about.
Okay.
But
I'm
expand
not sure
on.
I could explain it, but just that phrase I and I, like meaning myself and I just wondered if that bears anything to what you're saying.
What arises for me as you say that, me, myself, and I, is that that's the only thing that exists. Is me, myself, and I. Not in a selfish way that's negative, but in recognizing that the only thing you are experiencing in this life is your interpretation. Can we see this a little bit? It's like you see somebody walking down the street and you have a judgment of there's not enough of this or too much of that. What you are experiencing in that moment is not the truth of them. You're experiencing the projection that you have within your mind, which literally has nothing to do with them. Thanks for the topic starter. See the potential freedom in this. To be with that truth, to move from that space or that knowing that what you are experiencing in this life is totally contained within what you are. That when you despise something out there, you are literally despising something that you are. That is your creation. Not wrong, not bad in any way. It's simply an opportunity to see that. Because you are completely free to create whatever you want to create. And so much of the difficulty in our experience is the idea that we're worried about what other people think. They're not going to love me. They're not going to like me. They're going to say I'm stupid. They're going to walk out in the middle of your talk. Do you see how that's completely irrelevant as it pertains to your worth? To your love? I'm sure some of you here create in some way. You have some sort of offering that burns within you. When you offer up what you are to the world, in truth, you're offering it up to what you are as an opportunity to be in joy. If somebody doesn't like it, they're not liking their experience of it, of what they're creating with it, which doesn't have anything to do with you. They're free to do that. In your wholeness, recognizing what you are, you simply don't need them to have a certain type of experience with it. That's not for you to decide. And so there is this opportunity in life to sing your song and not care if anyone likes it. It's completely irrelevant. You see, with the confusion of man, he's looking for love in all the wrong places. Looking for love in that person's opinion of them. And they will never find it there, because that's not where it is. The love is you. And the moment you go looking for love, in this moment you're proclaiming that you are without love. That's your perception. And because that's your perception, you feel accordingly, because you are that powerful. The moment you say, oh, I want and I need that which is not here right now, you are saying, in this moment, I am missing something. And that hurts. To separate yourself from yourself. To believe that you're broken. That hurts. It's just a confusion. It's like, oh, never mind. That's not true. But yes, there is a conditioning in play that seems to perpetuate that illusion. But it does not need to persist. It only persists because we feed it. Let me switch gears. I'm all over the place. This is how I roll. The real perceivably difficult opportunity is to give up trying to be someone. To give up trying to be right. And just enjoy yourself. To see that your effort to hold up that image of a someone gives you nothing. You think it's protecting you from what you're afraid of, but it's not really. It's just an illusion. And you discover that by testing it, by setting down your argument, and see that nothing happened. To setting down your self-rejection and to see that you're still here. Any other questions? Comments? Playful arguments? Yeah.
I think at the moment that I need an injection of capital into my business
Yeah.
to take it to the place that I wanted to go. Actually, it's only the mind that is thinking that.
Yeah.
And that if I was not as identified with what the mind is thinking, then what would be left behind, what would be left underneath is just the way it is, which is totally perfect. Except when I think it isn't.
Yeah.
Which is why in the moment, one moment it's like, oh. And then the next moment, caught up in the mind again, it's like, no. And start to plan and try to make things happen.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, that's like the beginning of what I'm talking about. Yeah.
So then I've got another question about something else.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a bit personal.
Wonderful.
And it's to do with this lady here who laughs.
Yeah.
And no, it's fine. You don't need to apologise. Well, it wasn't fine though. That's the trouble. It wasn't fine.
Yeah.
You know, because she's been giggling away madly, and I've been watching my mind going, fucking hell. What's
Yeah. All right.
That's not okay. She knows something that I don't know. That's the first one.
Perfect.
The second one was, she must be something to do with him. She knows what she's talking about. Third one was, I can't remember what it was. A whole lot of them.
Do you see how everything you're saying is essentially saying I'm not good enough?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's completely mad.
Yeah.
But it's sticky. You know, those thoughts out there are sticky, and sometimes it's like the Velcro.
Yeah.
It gets stuck.
Okay, stop.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something. This is beautiful. Okay. That whole process that happened, meaning you were irritated, you noticed it, you realized it wasn't really about that. It was about you identifying with the story of lack. Right? You see that?
Yeah.
Right? Now that all of that happened, how does that matter right now?
It doesn't matter right now.
It doesn't matter at all.
No.
But what does that mean for your moment right now?
But I breathe, I relax,
Yeah.
I can't help but smile.
Ta-da!
Which is what you were doing when we came in. When I came in, you were just sitting there and you couldn't stop grinning.
No.
And
Stop that. Yeah.
I watched myself, well, two things going on, you know, I could resonate with it.
Right.
And there was a bit going, what's going on with him? We
Yeah.
haven't done anything yet, he's sitting there smiling.
Yeah.
Very funny, really, you know.
It's beautiful.
Anyway.
No, that is so great. Because it points to the simplicity of this.
Mm.
That within you is a willingness to see what is true.
Yeah.
To not hold on to the identification of who you think you are, to know in your core that it's an illusion, even though we get caught up in it. But in the space of your availability, there will be an openness to see it in the appropriate time. And when you see it, you find it permission to come back to now and enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
You see that nothing was lost.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
It is.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. The first thing I want to say is that you have a huge amount of light coming from you.
It's from up here. No, I hear.
And also, yeah, like you said, you're here, the time is now, which is why we're having this dialogue. And so I suppose I just wanted to share what I've experienced. I've seen myself create absolute hell for myself.
Yeah.
And the number of unbelievably disastrous relationships, just horrifying. I've just come out of another one.
Yay.
And it was only after the last one that I really started to understand that exactly what you're saying. So I wanted this person to see me. It's like, please, I want him to see me. Please see me. Please see me. Why don't you see me? And I'm only just now realizing it's because that I'm not allowing myself to see myself. And my background is brought up as a daughter of a vicar and a lot of Christian guilt. And so how can you truly love yourself without appearing arrogant or narcissistic? But that I'm beginning to understand that it's if you don't really truly love yourself and accept yourself, you will never. Yeah. I'm just starting to see it. I'm just starting to see how I can create heaven or hell. It's really up to me.
Can we say that, and again I'm using words so playfully, don't believe anything that I say.
That's easy.
Yeah. We can maybe agree that arrogance is to move in dishonesty in some way. That's like the social whatever. It's like you're inflating yourself. It's dishonest, it's not true. If the truth of you is incredibly whole, incredibly loved, is it arrogant to enjoy that? To appreciate that? To see it in everyone else? No. In a way, very playfully speaking, it's arrogant to think you're broken. To think that life is getting it wrong. Playfully. And you could say that true humility is to rest in the okayness of what you are. To know that all is well. Even when it feels like it's not. Thank you for that. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on, let's get you a microphone.
Yes, I'm really with you when you're talking about I'm okay. In terms of the I that I believe myself to be. But when I talk about my personality, that can be very broken.
Yeah.
Other people's personalities can be broken. And when I talk about the world, there's a lot of brokenness from my perspective of what I'm looking at. But I know that I am okay. I'm not sure what else to do. And so, it's like, but I can choose to have different behaviors. Can you just comment?
What do you mean by a personality can be broken?
I can do things which cause harm to others.
Okay. Thank you so much for bringing this up. I didn't want to. I temporarily got distracted by this bee that fell from the flower and looks to be dying. And there's a perspective that something's going horribly wrong. And then there's a perspective of, oh, that's beautiful. And then there's the perspective of, I really don't know what's happening. Maybe someone put LSD in my water. And so in acknowledging this, like you did, that's your perspective. And the perspective is based off of conditioning. It says, this is essentially what I've been taught to see life as. let's broaden that perspective a little bit, if it resonates for you. One of my favorite analogies currently is this one of looking out at the forest here, the mountains and just everything. And you're just like captivated by the beauty of it all. Anyone ever do that? I'd imagine that's why some of you are here. It's like, oh my goodness, it's extraordinarily beautiful. To the point where you just stop and you can't help but be in awe of it. And yet if we were to take a walk through the woods, we'll see extreme chaos. Bugs fighting with other bugs. Just dead animals just lying around. Gross. Some things really stink. Some things smell good. Leaves are falling and making a mess everywhere. Do you see the silliness in saying that someone should come clean this up? To make it more organized? So that I feel comfortable about it? As if I know what it should look like or what it shouldn't look like in order for it to be it? In order for that beautiful whatever to be the beautiful whatever, when you zoom into it, it has to be chaotic. It has to look like this part is harming this part. It has to look like this is good and this is bad. It has to be disorganized according to the mind of man in order for the beauty to be the beauty. And so even though the mind can walk through the forest and project brokenness, that something is going horribly wrong, maybe it's not. When I investigate my life experience and all of the shenanigans I've been through, if you'd ask my mother, she would say most of my life it was going horribly wrong. What a disaster that kid is. So glad we're recording your laugh. The point I'm making is, if it wasn't for all of these experiences, I simply wouldn't be here, sharing what I love. If I didn't travel the journey of up and down, left and right, perceived good and bad, there would be no discovery. If people didn't disappoint me, even sometimes in violent ways, I would not have learned to stand on my own authority in complete love. If my heart was never broken, I would have never learned to heal with grace. If life was not life, I would never discover the depth, the light, and beauty of what I am. And even though we might not see it, this is the perfection of your reality. That somehow, some way, what it is you're going through is the perfect teacher. The question is, are you available to see it? Because what I'm pointing to isn't just something that, oh, that guy's special. No. This is the journey of being human. And to put out another disclosure, when I speak to you in the space of satsang, it is not an adequate representation of my personal humanness in everyday life. I'm setting that aside to be incredibly sincere with you about what is actually going on. I'm not here to entertain you. Totally. I'm tapping into a love that wants you to see love. Because on the personal level, I promise you that there exists the perspective that my life is just as much of a mess as yours, if one wanted to see it that way. So please no guru talk. That's absurd. This isn't what I do. If you hang out with me for a day, you will see that I am the most unspiritual, spiritual person you have ever met. And this is what I invite you to see, is that your humanness is the answer. Where you are is the answer. You have this magnificent miracle flowing through you, this beautiful desire to create, to share, to be the beauty that you know exists inside. And life is saying, okay, I support that. You want to break free and dance and sing and play in this life, and the universe says, yes. Here are the ways you are limiting yourself. And it holds up a big mirror to show you all the ways you withhold love from yourself. Not as a punishment, but as a beautiful opportunity. To say, see how you're withholding freedom from that human being to be how they are? It's because you're withholding freedom from yourself to be how you are. Do you see how you're blaming this for your experience of being broke or disadvantaged? It's because you believe something about you is fundamentally disadvantaged. It is set up for you to expand. No matter where you come from, no matter what continent you live on, this is what you are. And don't try and relate this to somebody else's experience, because again, that's your projection of someone else. You don't really know. This is about you. The mind can say, well, what about people who live here? That's like an alien race flying over and saying, they only have iPhone 6? That's sad. They're so disadvantaged. Do you see the relativity there? We are born into an experience, in a landscape, into a playing field that is appropriate for our soul's expansion. Liberation and freedom have absolutely nothing to do with circumstance. It is an internal blooming, where no matter what is going on out here, you can experience the deepest freedom you can't even imagine. Any other question?
Yes, I see the truth in what you're saying. I think I believe I have encompassed the truth that I am creating the reality outside of me. I have had moments of that experience of immense joy. For the last 15 years, I've worked as an officer in the armed forces. I've spent a number of years in war zones, and I'm exceedingly unhappy with the reality I'm creating outside of me at the moment.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the fuck to do with it.
Oh God, I love it.
Continue to explore inwards. Yes, for sure I can do.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. Yeah.
No, I hear you. I hear you so deeply. Oh, I'm really excited to talk about this. What's our imaginary time schedule here? 15 minutes, okay. And we're doing a workshop tomorrow somewhere within a 10-mile radius, I think. You'll have to talk to Nikki, and she can tell you all the details. It's like a 3-hour experience. I'll figure out what we're going to do tonight. But it'll be awesome. Okay. The question, essentially, and correct me if I'm wrong, is I've seen and I've tasted the truth, or at least I believe I have, but yet I find that I keep seeing what I don't want. Is that okay? Does that feel like the question? Or does it feel like it's missing something?
I don't know if it's as much, I don't know if it's so much a question as a scream of despair, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I feel lost in this.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that, I've done some of the weeks in your online training, and my understanding is that the closer I am to my real self, the more inner joy I would feel. So by God, I'm lost.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but not very pleasant.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so the pain in our experience is simply an indication that we are out of alignment with the recognition of the truth of ourselves. If you focus on thought that says you're not enough, do you notice how that doesn't feel good? It doesn't feel good because it's an alarm system that says your perspective is not in alignment with the truth of what you are. When you see yourself as whole, complete, supported, and taken care of, that feels really good. Because in some way or another, it's in alignment with the truth of your nature. So there's an emotional guidance system happening there. When you stub your toe and it hurts, that's a pain guidance system. It says, stop what you're doing, bring your attention back to reality. This needs you, so that you can continue on in wellness. It's a very beautiful system. So the body pain system is very similar to the emotional pain system. It's simply trying to get your attention to come back to now and to see reality more clearly. But there's been a gross misunderstanding of emotion that perpetuates a cycle of pain. So going back to this screaming, I keep seeing war. I keep seeing conflict. And I don't like it. I have a feeling I'm going to speak to this a little bit in principle, and you'll have to see where it applies and see what feels true. If you are finding conflict, it's because you want conflict. The reason you want conflict is because you find your sense of identity in conflict. You're using it to tell you who you are. And it is terrifying to let go of that conflict and to not know who you are. Sooner or later, we will have to stand on our own authority and begin looking for in life that which we prefer, not that which we want to identify with, but that which we enjoy. Now, the difficulty in this is the identity of self will say, what about all the problems? If I just focus on what I enjoy. What about all the suffering? It's very valid. I'm so glad for touching on this. Thank you so much. This earth is a playground for the soul, for expansion, for discovery. And on this playground, anything goes. All is allowed. It's not a judgment, it's not a right or wrong. That's what's happening. All is allowed on this planet. There are infinite things to worry about. If there are infinite things to worry about, then there is nothing to worry about. You have this thought that arises and it sees a problem. Your mind goes into that problem, it splits into 5 other problems. You go into this one, it splits into 5 problems. And on and on and on it will go. Because that is where you are putting your attention. Not because it's true, not because it's real, but it's what you are focusing on. And the more you draw your sense of identity from problem, the more you will look for problem and find problem. Or look for and find whatever it is you're receiving and not enjoying. So what you are getting back from life, but you're not enjoying, is simply what you are looking for. Let's turn this perspective a little bit as it relates to the practicality of solving problems on this planet. We'll use a real life example. And I don't believe this to any degree. Someone could say, there's a problem on this planet that people are not conscious, that people are not awake. There's a problem that people do not see their divinity. And that's a big issue. Do you see how that's just a perspective? And so then we can say, the solution to that problem is I need to go wake everyone up, because everyone's dumber than I am. Do you see how that could be a perspective? But also in that perspective is fear. That life is getting it wrong. And I am the one that's going to fix it. Identity. Do you see that perspective? It's just a play. It's all happening in the mind. But what is happening during that process is a holding of a frequency, of a vibration. You can feel it in your core. It is a communication with the entirety of the universe that says, this is what I want to experience. I want to experience problems and fear so that I can feel valid. It's not wrong. It's perfectly allowed. You're free. Another perspective. What I love, what I enjoy, is to expose the beauty that we already are. To see more and more clearly how life really is a miracle and that there is nothing to worry about. That's what I love. That's what I enjoy. What happens when I focus on that? Oh, this person wants me to come speak to this small group of people and share that. Awesome. I'm not there to fix anything. This is just what I enjoy. You put a video online and then someone from Europe says, you need to come over. Okay, sure. I love doing that. This is great. I get to travel. You're paying for it. Awesome. Still not here to fix anything. I don't see a problem. I see what I love. And the byproduct of that, people find value. People say that I'm helping. Although that is not my intention. Helping is automatic from life. Life heals life. Right? That's not my department. And so in focusing on what I love, there's a different vibration being held. A different communication with the universe. Not necessarily intentional, like I'm trying to do this or that. No. There's a recognition of freedom that says it's okay to focus on what you love. And also, there's not an effort to take something from it. That would be fear. Like, I don't have something, so I need something. That would be another vibration. There is simply a completeness that loves to share. And then in that vibration, you see how it's a vibration of completeness. It's already done. Don't need anything. Totally taken care of. Life is amazing. And what happens? There's a reflection of that. And so if you're experiencing anything in your reality that doesn't seem to match your heart's desire, then one needs to investigate what it is they're carrying. Is it true? Is it what you love? Or are you trying to hold up an image, an idea, that really doesn't support the sincerity of what you are? Does that speak at all?
I'm just taking it.
Yeah, just sit with that. Just sit with that. Life is a miracle. Whether you want it to be or not. Let's do one more question. Yeah. Hold on, let me get your microphone.
Yeah, I didn't think this was going to come up tonight, but yeah, it's been a big piece of healing that's happened to me and around. I'm from South Africa, and there's a piece of this thing that you shared for me, which has been very, very healing. Around seeing your full magnificence, and that's how kind of touching myself and sometimes the pain. I've been away for 6-7 weeks, and yeah, living in one of the most beautiful places on earth, and being aware of where I've been advantaged, and where that's cost me in my life. And wanting to move past the guilt from that place and find right action in my life to help this beautiful kind of on this trip become aware of the pain of the many amazing people in my country is sits in me.
Yeah.
And I want to let go of feeling advantage to this thing of being in the same, but wanting to like kind of like navigate. Like I was realizing I was in the supermarket now today, and I saw a little kid shoplifting and taking food, and feeling this wanting to. My question is this thing about this wanting to be Zen, but wanting to somehow not be just a boat without a rudder.
Yeah.
And like this kid, I thought about it as you were speaking. Is that rather, because I said to her, what's happening? And then I was aware that I had to go to dinner, and I knew it was going to be a long process. And what's come up when you were sharing is that I wanted to actually go down to him and say, are you hungry? And rather than seeing those things, can I buy those things for you? And it's only come up now for me of just this thing. And so just that thing of wanting to know, when do I step in? Like, if you'd asked me 15 years ago, I had right and wrong, I would have nabbed and got hold of security, and then how's that going to help the brother? And then the other extreme of doing nothing. So, but wanting to kind of find that place of action and sometimes non-action.
Yeah. First off, let me say you've already found it. Do you enjoy this discovery that you're expressing right now, reflecting back on that?
Yeah, it's like it's open up my heart for
Yes. You see the love that's being discovered in that. And so how you acted was perfect. That's exactly what life was asking for. And this is how you immediately heal your past. Is you recognize that everything you've done is what life has asked, regardless of your judgment of it. You are playing an important role that allows love to bloom everywhere. And so the right action is the naturalness of you, the effortlessness of you. Without that naturalness, what you're doing is you're moving in resistance, which is to be violent to yourself, which is to say, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to be natural. I must try and try and try to do it right. It's like waking up and saying, I should really try and breathe today. How silly. It's already happening. You are already the divine perfection unfolding. It is simply the idea of you that is arguing with the process, that says you're not getting it right. Thank you. I could be here for another 4 hours. My goodness. My goodness. I would really love to come back to Scotland. I visited a high school today. I don't know if many of you know, but I'm working on a high school curriculum, self-love and conscious life skills, that I taught half the year as a curriculum in a school back home. And it was fantastic. Amazing that teenagers want to learn about the truth of what they are. Go figure. But so much beauty unfolding if you're willing to look for it and to see it. I brought a limited number of books with me an explosion of love, the color of all things beautiful. And there's a couple of my first book, Intimacy with the Silent Nothing That Is Everything. Other than that, you can find them on Amazon, I believe. Tomorrow we have that workshop. If you would like to stay informed about this sharing, somewhere you'll be able to write down an email address. And for my own personal experience, life has invited to share. Before I came out here, it kind of required that I just sell everything. I had a business that I ran, I totally retired from it. And it was like, okay, it's time. It's time to take off and go do this. And so your support is monumental. I simply wouldn't be here if it wasn't for people here asking and supporting. This high school program would not do what it's doing if it wasn't for an agreement that says yes. And so without getting into so many details, the tiny little team of people that are helping to make this happen are trying to creatively and joyfully find ways to do that without turning it into some business. Which is fine too, if that happens. But for me, it's more joyful to have this natural flow of people that come together and just say, yeah, this is awesome. Let's continue to spread this around the world. So if you would like to be a part of that somehow, you can share your email address with Nikki. And oh my God, I love this woman. Amazing. And again, I'm so lazy that if it wasn't for people, this just wouldn't happen. And so thank you. And so yeah, from the bottom of my heart, this is such a joy. We have the workshop tomorrow if you want to be a part of that. I think there's a few spots left. We have the workshop or the retreat June 22nd in Holland. And then I actually leave in a day or two to Amsterdam. And we have a whole series of events lined up over there. And another way of supporting is just let people know. You can find me on Facebook and just share. Tell people that I'll be there. And then after that, June 29th, I'm coming back to the UK. We're going to do about 10 days of events there, and then I'm going to Portugal. And then from there, who knows? And interesting enough, I was playfully invited to South Africa today. But yeah, my heart is so open to just kind of surrender to this, and it's my highest joy. So thank you so much. I love you so deeply. Aloha and cheers to the beauty that you already are.